I've been thinking about advertising and what
Yeah.
Google are going to do, and to what extent the current situation is forcing them to admit that search and advertising are in the same space.
Yeah.
Because they've invited me to give keynotes in Singapore,
Mhm.
and it's basically me teaching their ads enterprise clients how to do SEO, or SEO for the AI era. And it's now making me think, well, they're seeing a lot of competition. They're seeing that advertising in AI isn't an obvious solution that they have yet, and they're currently killing their golden goose because they're
Yeah.
going to build another golden goose.
Sure.
And that pivot is a really interesting point. What do you think about that?
Yeah, look, I think in like a couple of years, we'll laugh at the CPMs, or better, sorry, the CPCs that we're paying today. Similar to how we laugh about the CPCs from like 10 or 20 years ago. I think that's going to go up significantly, probably move more to like a cost per sale type of model, because Google is going to understand perfectly when the right time is to show an ad. And therefore, the bidding is going to go up much, much higher, because it's basically the sellers figuring out what's my margin that I need. And up until that, they'll just bid, because because Google will understand so well where people are in the funnel. I mean, Google has perfect visibility at this point, from Gmail to search to Gemini to personal knowledge, like the feature in AI mode in Gemini. So I think they'll know with a scary accuracy where people are, and just before the point of conversion, they're going to show maybe one or two alternatives, which means the CPM is going to go, or sorry, CPC is going to go through the roof. So I'm generally bullish, especially with Google's position on the consumer side of things. And I do see the first couple of pointers where basically, I mean, for this had happened for a while, but Google is increasingly reducing the visibility of the actual queries that showed ads with PMax. It's increasingly moving to like a topic slash intent type of reporting. So I'm bullish on Google. I think they have all that it needs, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some formats like, "Hey, you're ready to buy this, but do you want to consider that? Like, there's an ad here, right, at the right point of conversion." And maybe even companies being willing to um, offer deals like per unique person, right? Like, so instead of saying everybody's getting 20% off, it's like
Right.
you're getting 20% off. I could see that. So that's my short riff on advertising.
Right. Yeah. And so if you look at the Kalicube framework, I've got paid advertising going down diagonally down the funnel. And part of that is kind of what you're saying is, at the end of the day, actually, advertising at the top or the middle of the funnel is going to become less helpful, and
Yeah,
advertising at the bottom of the funnel to cut in at the end of the marathon race, basically,
yeah,
and steal the win, as it were, and steal the perfect click, because we've got over there on the right the imperfect click in search, the perfect click in assistive engines, and the agentic click for agents. What do you see in terms of that model that I've just described?
yeah. I think you're totally right. And I will also say that I think AI compresses the whole funnel, right? I think it's really hard to still think in a funnel, because in a single conversation you can go from even just understanding what your problem is to buying a solution.
Mm.
So I think all of that is compressed, and instead it's just like, can you catch the right people at the right time? But I think this, like, even like top of the funnel in AI search now, or not now, but like shows some brands too, right? So if you ask about like
Yeah.
what is a CMM, a lot of LMs will tell you some brands of what, like, so that can like just accelerate everything so much more. I think where it gets really interesting is when we move from pull to push. So Open AI had tried this thing called ChatGPT Pulse, which I never was able to experience, but I think that's going to be the next step for Google, where they can predict intent or interesting things for you, which means that that compresses the whole funnel even more. So to me, kind of, I've been operating under this messy middle framework for the last, I don't know, but like a couple of years, because it's so difficult to even paint a funnel for a company. And so, yeah, I guess to summarize what I said a bunch of times right now, I think the funnel overall is just so compressed, and the way
Yeah.
that Google shows ads plays right into that.
Right. And with AI Max and whatever the other one's called, it's all about cohort intent profit. So what I've learned is cohort intent, which is what we talked about in the other session. Cohort intent is how you define your ICP, and you can build your tracking query set from that. And if you then add on profit, then you have your ad campaign set up. So in fact, the two have converged.
Yeah, sure. That's exactly what I mean by, at the end of the day, it depends on how much margin companies want and need out of a product, and that will define their spend, right? Because you can perfectly acquire these customers. I mean, very well acquire these customers with intelligence that Alphabet and also Meta have about people. I also think there's this interesting shift from intent to behavior. Like, there was this clear separation of Google search, which is intent driven, and then Meta properties, which is behavior driven. And I think they just merge now with AI, right? Where search, whatever, if you still want to call it search, but AI search, because it is so much more personalized and so much more of a conversation, it gets that behavior targeting perspective as well. And so there's kind of the tool, like, I think that was always a question for ChatGPT, like, how are they going to show ads? Are they going to show ads based on the prompt and conversation you have right now? Or would they show ads based on your profile? And for Google, I'm not sure what they could do both, right? And I'm not sure what they're going to settle on. But maybe given that Meta makes more ad revenue than Alphabet, maybe they bring more behavior. But that's what I mean with the push point, right? Like, the push can be much more about behavior rather than in the moment prompting. And then when you're in a conversation, it can be much more of the intent hybrid version.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of the big point you're making there is that nobody really knows where advertising is going, but it's definitely going to have to stick around. But potentially with Google expanding, or Alphabet rather, expanding their business model to multiple different places and getting very large revenue streams from things other than advertising, is Alphabet going to become no longer the ad company that we traditionally saw it as in the search era?
Yeah, it's a good one, man. I think it's hard to finance AI for free without advertising. And at the same time, though, as a business model, advertising is obviously very sensitive to how the economy is doing, right? So you see that, like, during recessions, obviously advertising is falling apart. So Google and Alphabet have done a good job in diversifying their income sources more with, like, cloud business and other, like, YouTube subscription and whatnot. But I'm bullish on advertising because the majority of users will probably choose free versions. And at the same time, man, like, to make the meta point here, paid users will increasingly get very different experiences than free users, right? So where, like, for search, there was just a freemium model. For AI, there's a freemium and then there's a paid model that has significant differences in the experience.
Right. I had a website for kids back in the day where I was a cartoon blue dog, and it was 5 million visits a month.
Wow.
And we were ad driven. And then one day we said, okay, we're going to offer a premium service where we give the child a full screen window that they can't close. And there will be no ads. And there will be bonus games. I can't remember quite but that was the offer. So it was the freemium, push people to the premium. That was in 2003. And we launched it. I thought we're going to make $10,000 a month, easy peasy. And we made, 40 sales from 5 million visits. And that's, for me, the demonstration at the time, it's probably changed since then, but the extent to which people are willing to put up with ads when it's their kids who are preschool kids rather than pay.
Dude, I can relate, man. I'm selling both advertising and premium memberships in my content, and it is so difficult to get people to pay for something. Like, especially content, man. It's just so difficult. That's why down the line, most companies become advertising companies, right? You have Netflix, of course, but then you also have what are they called? DoorDash and Uber essentially becoming advertising companies, right? It's just hard to get people to pay.
Right. Brilliant. Have you got any closing words about the advertising space in the few years to come in AI?
I think we said it all, man. I think we said it all.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Jason, it's always inspiring to talk to you. Thanks for having me.